Okay, everybody, 5:30, we will go ahead and get started. Ms. Gore, if you will mark everyone present and note that we have a quorum. And we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence as well. I'm going to ask my good friend Jerry West if he wouldn't mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll stand for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. All right. We have special guests tonight. We always love that, especially when it's students. So we're going to start off. I'm going to introduce Jeff Ivey and Jeff Chipman. If you guys would come on up.
Good evening.
Good evening. If you wouldn't mind telling us all about the wonderful accomplishments of these students, please.
Absolutely. Before I start, I want to thank the board for acknowledging these students and their hard work. So I appreciate you for having this moment here.
We're glad. Absolutely.
Well, back the whole school year, from the very first month of school, we started before school rehearsals for All West auditions. They auditioned students throughout the city in late October. And these students from middle school qualified to participate in a clinic and concert in November at the Cannon Center with a guest clinician, where they've learned many experiences, learned a lot of lessons they can bring back to their classrooms. So I'm so proud to use this opportunity to acknowledge their accomplishments. We have 7th graders, Amelia Hendricks and Allie Hasensall. Come on up.
Yeah.
Right here. 8th graders, Sophia Franca, who's not present, but she earned this right. Millie Norris, Mackenzie Hardin, and Lila Jowers. Come on up. And these are the representatives from AMS.
We do something, of course, very similar at the high school level. Our students, their auditions are in September. They're a little bit earlier. And the following students qualified for All West Honor Choir. There was Elena Lamica. She was not able to be with us tonight. Annalise Lum, Kayla Valencia, Julia Hardy, Sanvi Seth, Maddie Morshak, Alexis Gick, Ava Latshaw, Lori Isgett, Matt Richardson, Ian West, Max Wieland, and Aiden Parker. And then the following students not only were recognized as All West honorees, they also competed in another round of auditions and made honors with All-State. And these students will graduate with a state diploma of distinction for that honor. Priya Vani Bakshi, Addison Kiefer, Neely McIlvain, Matthew Heathcock, Toby Harrell, Luke Flowers, and Brian Turner.
Well, thank you so much for coming. Yeah, there's always going to be a photo opportunity.
Sure.
Slide this way, bro. You don't want me in there. Oh, there's our communications guy. He keeps skidding in. Uh-oh.
You look great.
As he runs in. It's all-
Give them a moment to file out, and then we have more. All right, I'm looking for Ms. Casey Sandlin Rogers. Hi.
I actually just got a text message from my student. She said, my dad took my car, so I'm going to be late.
Okay.
But she is on her way, so she'll still show up.
Well, do you want to, we'll push, and when she gets here, if you'll just signal, we'll work her in.
Perfect.
Is that
Thank you.
okay?
That'd be great.
That'd be perfect, thank you. All right, we'll move on, circle back. We've got citizen comments, and we have Katie Richards. Hi. Ms. Richards, if you wouldn't mind speaking to the microphone and name and address for the record, and then I'll just remind you, you have a 2-minute timer, and the board won't address you, but I promise you we're listening, okay?
You're fine.
So name and address, please.
Okay, Katie Richards, 4935 Bending Creek Cove.
Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you all for the dual enrollment machining course. I don't know how it came to fruition, but for my son, who's going to be an engineer, and Miss Sandlin Rogers will admit to this, she works with Nathan a lot. I'm Nathan's mom. So we saw it, you know, as a freshman, when did it start? 3 years ago? So I guess he was a sophomore. Anyway, we saw that as a good conceptual understanding for him for machining. So if you understood how the end would be manufactured, you could see it from the beginning. And so that's how we pitched it to him. But he's loved every minute of it. And he is stoked to go out and get a job that will be well paying so he can pay his tuition for college.
Wow.
So that's my thank you. And I have one concern I just want you to know about the class.
Sure.
The quality of their tools, not the large machines, but like their bits, can be not the best. And they often break, which is very frustrating to them because it usually sets them back because it ruins their project. And I don't know safety-wise, but just as a note, they get very frustrated with that. So I don't have any more information than that to help you, but just a note. So thank you, that's all.
Well, thank you for your time. We appreciate you. All right, we will go ahead, we're waiting on her student and just progress through the agenda. Next up is the actual approval of the agenda, so I will entertain motions.
Mr. Chairman,
Ms.
I
Swin?
move to approve the February 28, 2023 agenda.
Perfect.
A second.
We have a first and a second by Ms. Conley. Any questions from the board about that agenda? Yep. We'll go ahead and take a vote then. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. Chairman's report, I do have a couple of things. The superintendent and I have spent a lot of quality time together recently. We have talked about many things. His contract, which will be forthcoming to the board. A few revisions there, and hopefully an extension. We hope he signs that. But that'll be coming to you guys by email. Also, we're going to push this up a little bit just because we're trying to move a little faster with all of budget things and all that. It's going to be a busy month in March for us, and we looked at potentially, and I'll let the superintendent really give the final on this, whether we can we're going to do our individuals, then we're going to do a work session, and we may actually piggyback a meeting onto the work session if it's a light agenda, and then we won't have to meet in a whole bunch of consecutive days. So I hope that's okay with everybody. But we're still kind of working out and he hasn't made me any promises, so it may not work, but I'm not going to hold him to it. Superintendent Mayo's evaluation is coming to you as well. Mr. Overby was kind enough to digitize that. It will come to you via email, is that right, sir? The link will,
At 6 o'clock, the email's gonna go out tomorrow with the link.
6 a.m., it'll be, you'll get a link. It will go for, yeah,
Is that gonna
he
ding my
picked,
email and wake
6
me up?
a.m.
I hope it does. He picked 6 a.m., not me. It will run through March the 15th at 6 p.m., so don't be sliding in like Tyler Hill just did. Get it done, and those results will come directly to me. I'll tabulate, and then we'll present to the board at a future meeting. I already talked about the work sessions, budget meetings, all that stuff. So I know the superintendent's a little bit under the gun for getting all this done. So if you have things that you want to bring him for the budget, please do so expeditiously because you're running out of time. We will do it for Mr. Dunn's benefit the way we've done it in the past. You will have individual budget meetings, the superintendent and Ms. Meeks. Then we will come together collectively where everyone can talk about everything in a work session. Then we will vote. Hopefully, if we can make that thing work, we'll work session, then go ahead and vote, and that'll take care of the meeting as well. The town has asked for us to get it to them as early as possible, so that's another reason we're looking to get all that done. The Consortium of State School Board Associations, you guys are all familiar with that organization that we in Tennessee helped found. We're up to 25 states now. The inaugural national conference will be held in Tampa on March the 30th through April the 2nd. I'll be in attendance to that, and I guess there's probably still time if you guys want to go. There's currently about 60 people registered from the state of Tennessee. Not the Tennessee board is not included in that. So anyway, Tammy Grissom will be there, Ben will be there, and Brittany from TSBA staff. So TSBA board of directors has also asked me to ask all of our districts to please promote more nominations for the TSBA awards program. And I know Ms. Williams has pushed this in the past, and we've sent some nominations. There's volunteer of the year, there's students of the year, there's a whole host of things, and it'd be great if I know we've had some people advance into the finals, and pretty nice. There's a complete list of all the TSBA awards on their website. There's some board awards too that I'm looking at for us. But the awards nomination deadline is May the 1st, and that's for school volunteer recognition and student recognition awards. That's all I have, unless did I miss anything, Superintendent, that we've been talking about?
I think you covered it.
That's it?
Can I
Perfect.
ask one question?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought Tammy Grissom was going to be the executive director of that. What? No.
No, we didn't want her to do that job. We didn't want to lose her to that position, and she didn't want to relocate.
Oh, okay.
When this was all being set up, everybody's kind of working from home, but there's going to be a central location, so.
Gotcha. And who's the executive director of that?
I met him, they elected him and offered him the job at that leadership conference, and I honestly don't remember what his
Do you know where
name
he's
is.
from?
He's one of the, I think South Carolina maybe,
Oh,
North
okay.
Carolina.
Okay.
I do know he had an extensive background. He had a 45-year career in public education, and many of that, I think 20 plus years of that was as a state director. So,
Okay.
nice
Thank
guy.
you.
Yes, ma'am. Apologize for not knowing his name. I hope
That's all right.
I hope that doesn't make it
I
on
wouldn't have-
television.
Probably wouldn't have either.
So, are you guys ready? Okay, let's pause and we'll yield the floor to you, and let's hear all about your fantastic student whose dad stole her car.
So I'm Miss Salmon Rogers. I'm a STEM teacher, one of the STEM teachers at the high school. And through our STEM classes, we work on a lot of projects that we try to integrate into the community or to the school. So recently, well, not recently, she's been working on it for about a year and entering several different competitions. One of my students, Aditi Rave, if you want to come up here, she placed first in our TSA, or Technology Student Association, state competition at the end of last school year and received a bid to nationals. Well, with her project, which is software development, she developed an app that tracks your CO2 emissions, making it to where you choose or make better choices from polluting our earth. And with that, you grow a virtual tree. And her extension, or wanting to extension as she continues to work on her app, is to partner with Arbor Day Foundation. So for however many virtual trees you grow, you get to plant a real tree. But we're still working on that. So she recently won TSIN's State Design Challenge for the high school division, winning herself an iPad and her teacher a brand new iPad. And then she also competed this past Saturday at the Memphis Joint Engineers Council and placed first in the high school division, winning our STEM program $400. And then she won herself some money. And then in the fall, she'll be competing in an Inventors National competition, and still partnering with her mentor to help develop her app.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Keep up the good work.
Yes, very impressive. All right. Superintendent.
All right. You can probably hear me well enough. So we are having next week will be our Q3 celebration luncheon for our employees. Hope you all signed up for that. If you didn't, there won't be any leftovers. They don't overplan for that one. But anyway, I know everybody's ready for spring break, and our employees have done an incredible job since we've come back after Christmas. So we're looking at Q4. I mean, we're on the heels of Q4. It's hard to believe that we're here already. So a lot still left to do. There's third quarter is like 4 quarters rolled into one. It feels like from this side, and I know it does feel that way in the schools as well. But anyway, we want to continue to appreciate our employees and show them we appreciate the work that they're putting forth every day. As you all know, I attended the National Superintendent Conference a couple of weeks ago, and there were about 4,500 superintendents there from across the country, and of course I enjoyed networking and learning, made a couple of new friends that are local Mississippi folks that I was able to meet at that conference. One of the things that was also pretty cool at the conference that I provided for you all is every attendee at the conference, all 4,500 attendees, as part of our welcome bag, we received one of these magazines. And in this magazine, Arlington Community Schools is featured. We did a podcast several months ago with this company, Apogee, that produces this school CEO magazine. And so when I got to the conference and I got in my bag, I thought it was pretty cool, because I'd already gotten a copy of the magazine, but I thought that was pretty neat that this magazine was part of the welcome bag at the national conference, and that our school district was featured in there from that previous podcast. So I wanted you all to have a copy of that. So I asked the guy there, I said, I need you to send me 5 more copies of this book for my board members. So I wanted you all to have that. So I thought that was pretty neat. Tyler, Dr. Clark, and I actually did that podcast. It was about, the topic was branding, district branding, and touched on employee morale and some of those things. And that's basically what this company does. They work with districts that need help in that area, and they had picked our district from looking at our website and following us on social media. They had picked us as a district that I guess they felt we were doing some right things, and so that's why we were invited to be a part of that podcast a few months ago. So it was pretty neat to see it show up again. As far as budget is concerned, Dr. Viox mentioned budget earlier. We're continuing to meet and hammer out those details, lots of details, as you know, from working through that before. He did mention your one-on-one meetings that will come a little bit later in April. Mr. Ruff, Ms. Roberts, and I met last week to start looking at CIP and how we're going to map that out. So we've got a pretty good plan for that. We're going to meet again this coming Monday. And I got a couple of things I want to talk with you. I'll talk with you, I'll contact you individually about that. Some things that you have mentioned that I want to make sure that we have clarity on as we're looking at those, at finalizing that plan. We also looked at the principal wish list that they are asked to send in every year. And so there's usually two components of that. There's usually a staffing component, if they ask for additional staffing, and then there's a building improvement, a CIP component of that. So I've actually reviewed all of those. We've gone through that. Dr. Clark actually met with the principals today to discuss staffing projections for next year, and then she also let them know the status of their requests from their wish list as it related to staffing. And then Mr. Ruff and I are still working on a couple of the CIP wish list items, and then I will be following up with principals on those to let them know what might and might not be included in that CIP plan moving forward. As I said, still a lot of moving pieces, but I feel like we're in a good place with where we are in our timing and on our budget calendar that we're trying to adhere to. I do want to say a shout out to Mr. Goforth and Ms. Kim Douglas, our secondary supervisor. A couple of weeks ago, we got a TISA verification database, basically. It would look like mumbo jumbo when you open it up. And so we all stopped what we were doing and got on that because there was a very small window of turnaround to verify that. And we know that's very important because this is the first year for funding to be generated from that formula. So we know the importance of that. So we stopped and looked at it. We found everything. We found, some errors, mainly in our CTE area. We sent that feedback back. They were able to fix that so that we'll get funding for those. But there was one area they were quibbling over with us. And so we actually had a Zoom conference. I know Ms. Douglas had additional conferences with them, with another CTE director from another district. And finally, the TDOE agreed that we will get funding for that particular CTE class. It was a CTE class that had work-based learning attached to it, but it was a dual enrollment. Well, for some reason, they didn't have it coded. Even though you're doing more in the dual enrollment than you are the other one, they weren't going to give us credit for that. And so that's a hit for us not to get that. But thanks to Mr. Goforth and Miss Douglas was quite the piranha in presenting herself.
They didn't know who she was.
They did not, but they do now. And that actually helped other municipal districts who are in the same boat as us. I think Bartlett, Collierville, Germantown benefited from that, and they all had conversations locally as well. But I was very proud of them for moving forward with that, and gives us more funding for that particular class. Career Fair, Dr. Clark's not here tonight, but I want to recognize her and her team along with other people, adopted HR people from central office, because it takes a lot of folks to put on the Career Fair. And Career Fair was, again, done well. We already have principals who have short lists from that Career Fair, so when we allow them to hire, they're going to be going, obviously, to that short list of applicants that they met at the Career Fair first. So that's always a good event and a good source of high-quality future employees for us. I've also got on here for you all to save the dates. You may have these already, but May 16th at 7 o'clock will be the AHS graduation. And then May 17th at 1:30 will be the AMS promotion ceremony, and both of those will be at Bellevue. And that's different because usually that AMS one is in the morning, but this year it's in the afternoon. So that'll be interesting for Ms. Banks to figure all that out. The last thing I have on my list is I would like for Mr. Patrick Ashby to come out
All right,
From behind.
of his behind the
we'd
curtain.
like to see him.
Mr. Ashby, he hears me. There he is.
Hey,
Okay, Mr. Ashby, guess what? What? You're getting a Plus Experience Award tonight. So the coolest thing about this is you've been nominated by a student for this award, and then another student actually added some more information to this. So actually 2 students have nominated you for this. So I'm going to read the nomination to you. And basically it says, Mr. Ashby has given me an amazing experience as a media arts student. He has given me so much wisdom and love, and without him, I probably wouldn't be going to college for film. Mr. Ashby is very encouraging while also knowing when to be strict and hold his students to a higher standard. He wants you to do your own work, but he knows when to step in and help. He encourages all the time. After a big show or live stream, he'll sit us down and point to specific instances that made him proud. He always gives us a big speech telling us how great we are compared to other schools in the area. Then he'll go a step further and say how good we are compared to programs even in the country and the world. He gets the best out of us by giving us the independence and guidance we need to be successful. So congratulations, that's a great honor. And then an ACS Plus pin that you can wear proudly. Right. And we're going to make you famous on Facebook.
Okay, thank you. That wasn't why you were at school this morning. You weren't looking for me. Kind of.
I was doing some other things.
Okay.
You were first on our list. Mm-hmm. We couldn't find you anywhere. And
then
at the very last minute, you walked by and there's Mr. Ashby. So anyway, Tommy can get a picture.
Thank you. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm terrible. Here we go. Hang on.
Okay. And go ahead and give me the mic.
Yes.
Unless you want a mic drop.
No, I don't. Here we go.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so now we'll move into departmental reports. Dr. Clark, as I said, is not here. Mr. Goforth doesn't have anything. Ms. Douglas doesn't have a departmental report, right?
That's correct.
But she's going to be talking to you a little bit later on one of our items. Mr. Ruff has some information to share with you, I believe, tonight.
Good afternoon. I wish I had better news. I wish I could tell you we're going to break ground next week and y'all could be out there for the groundbreaking. But currently, we are waiting on our final approval from Shelby County. We've got our fire marshal, state fire marshal. We got our town backing. We're waiting now for the Shelby County approval, which I think most of you guys, we talked about this briefly with the built-in storm shelter. The beautiful thing is they implemented this, and I don't think anybody knew how to proceed with it. So we're kind of like the first ones to get in on this. And so unfortunately, I think we're close, but just to let you know, we're not idle. They're working on some middles behind the scenes. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff that's going to kick in that's going to be internal, not necessarily on the new construction portion of this. So we're actually working on stuff. The 20th, we get out on the 19th of May. On the 20th, they've asked me to set some time aside so we can get the demolition crew in. And we're going to start on the safety and security enhancements part of this project. And then we'll also be working on all of the art rooms and the millwork and those type of things. So, I mean, even though we don't necessarily have a shovel in the ground yet, we're actually getting a lot of stuff done behind the scenes. So once it actually comes time to get that permit and we're moving forward, I mean, we'll be ready. AMS parking lot. We have the plans for that. We are working right now. Miss Speakman and Miss Borwick are working to get us an RFP together. So hopefully this next meeting, we'll have a contractor for you guys to approve and we'll be able to move forward on that project. At the central office here, I know we've talked about it for a long time. We've got an elevator shaft. Hopefully by the next time you come back, we'll have an elevator. So that's the plan. Baseball bleachers, no delivery date, but they are in the queue. They are in the queue. So just trying to let you know where we're at. AMS outdoor classroom, we keep getting closer and closer with the weather. I mean, the weather has not cooperated with us too much on any of these outdoor projects at all, but we're dangerously close to being able to turn the kids loose in our new outdoor classroom. And I know you guys have been waiting on that for a while. And then one of the last things I'll talk about is our STEM classroom at AMS. We've got cabinets ordered, and we anticipate any day they're going to be in, and we're going to start installation. So just kind of wanted to let you know where we were at. Any questions? Thank you,
sir.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ruff. Ms. Speakman, do you have a report?
I'll spare you until next month.
Mr. Hill?
No.
Okay, and that concludes the superintendent's report.
Perfect, and we're gonna do the financial report just a little bit differently since Ms. Roberts had to step away. Does the board have any questions for the superintendent about either the monthly financial or the interlocal health trust? No, perfect. All right, we'll move on to Ms. Williams.
Okay, thank you. The governor did give his 5th annual State of the State address on Monday, February 6th. I'm sure everybody tuned in to watch. A $3.3 billion investment in road maintenance and expansion was the centerpiece of his budget this year. So that's kind of good news for us, isn't it? It's not about education, it's about roads. But there is a highlight from Lee's proposed budget for education. He's proposing a minimum salary of $50,000 for teachers by 2026. Valerie, I saw 2027 at 1.2. Now it's saying 2026. Is that what you're seeing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure. Thank
And
you.
we'll be there well before then.
I think so too.
Almost there now.
That is exactly what I thought. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Mr. Mayor. So that's good news, teachers, for sure. Tennessee Senate lawmakers approved the expansion of an education voucher program that allows public dollars, tax dollars, to be given to families to pay for private schooling. That's a concern. Tennessee senators approved school voucher program for Hamilton County. So now it's Hamilton County is going to join Shelby County as well as Nashville. So that bill was passed just because of those two districts, but Hamilton County is now looking like they're going to be joining that illustrious group. The GOP, to give you a little background on that, the GOP-led State House narrowly approved the voucher program, if you remember, in 2019, known as Education Savings Account. Under the law, eligible families are given around $8,100 in public tax dollars for private school tuition and other pre-approved expenses, which that is dollars that certainly public schools need. On Tuesday, March the 7th at 4:30 p.m., oh, listen to this, in the House K through 12 subcommittee, roughly about 15 pieces of legislation on 3rd and 4th grade retention will be heard. It seems the overall goal right now is to consolidate those bills and try to make sure there's no redundancies and similar intentions to ultimately have a few bills for consideration on that very topic. So it looks like they're looking at all this. Now, that would give me a cue that people are not really
Legislation.
happy about that, but obviously not, so they are going to look at all of those, and then we'll see on March the 7th, so be alert on March the 7th on what's going on with that. So that should be interesting for sure. My next virtual meeting with TSBA and legislative networking is on March 24th at 11 a.m. I did give you a copy of some legislation that I thought you might find a little interesting. And these are going to be looked at tomorrow, House Education at 1:30, the Senate Education Committee at 3 o'clock. And the first one is about recalling board members. So I thought you might find that one a little interesting. As you know, there is this is House Bill 595 and Senate Bill 635. So as introduced, it allows registered voters of any county instead of just Madison County. Right now, it only applied to Madison County, who reside within the geographic boundaries of an LEA to file a petition with the County Election Commission demanding the recall of a member of the LEA's local Board of Education. So you might want to, I thought maybe we could email tonight or in the morning 6 a.m. is good if you want to do 6 a.m. again.
Since you'll
Because
be up
Russell's
anyway.
got us going at
Russell's gonna wake
6.
me up with the
We're going to have our coffee at 6 a.m. and we're going to get the information from Russell, and then we're going to be emailing our legislators. So don't forget your little cheat sheet here that I gave you. It's not really a cheat sheet. It's information that you'll need to email Senator Brent Taylor and Representative Tom Leatherwood. So you might want to give your feelings on that. There's another good one too, so wait. House Bill 1244, Senate Bill 910, it's as introduced, enact the Local School District Empowerment Act, allows for the establishment of the Office of Elected Superintendents of School, adjusts the duties of local boards of education and school systems in which the Office of Elected Superintendent of Schools is established. I would recommend that we hit that one too, so be sure at 6 a.m. to hit that one. I don't really think we want an elected superintendent, and for some reason, last year, Valerie, this didn't come up, did it?
It did, but it failed early.
Okay.
There are actually two of these this year. One of them makes the superintendent still responsible for hiring and firing once he's elected. The other one that you're talking about, it makes the board hire and fire people, and so you can imagine how
Well,
complicated that's.
we don't want to do that.
Nope. Wow.
Yeah, so please, everybody, 6 a.m., get ready. All right, the next one, I'm going to let you read those for yourself. I just wanted to point those two out, but these other ones, well, they're important. I don't want to not say they're not important, so please look at those. That's why I kind of printed them out for you, to make sure you see those too, and email our senator and also our representative about those. I just didn't want to, I know you can read, and I don't want to certainly insult anybody, for sure. So, 6 a.m., I'll see you at 6.
All right. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the consent agenda. We'll entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
Motion approved.
Mr. Benjamin? And Ms. Conlon? All right, is there discussion on the consent agenda from any board member? Okay, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. All right, Superintendent, you are up.
Okay.
Or Ms. Douglas,
Find it on here.
or however.
Okay, here we go. Okay, the only item that's under business recommended action items tonight is the approval of the updated ESSER Public Plan Addendum. So it is my recommendation that you approve that plan after you see Ms. Douglas's presentation of the plan, but before she can present that, I know you have to get it on the floor. So my recommendation is the approval of the updated ESSER Public Plan Addendum.
I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Okay, same, Mr. Benjamin and Ms. Conlon.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Douglas.
So we'll take just a few moments to remind you guys of our ESSER 2.0 and 3.0 updates. I know I've come to you before several times with the same format. And as we've mentioned, it's actually a requirement that we update several documents every 6 months and then represent them to the board to make sure that you guys are aware that we're monitoring our spending and that we're staying in compliance. So what we have here is just a screen to remind us that we are monitoring. Over on that left-hand column, again, we do this every 6 months, several different documents. We did complete a survey a few weeks ago. We put that out publicly for any stakeholders to participate. And you can see here we had 625 participants, a number of students, teachers, parents, and families. So they give us feedback on how they would like to see the funds spent in the categories that they can be spent in. And then just on the right is a reminder that all of these documents are posted on our website, each of the updates every few months. And again, we have to have them posted in various languages. So we've talked through this slide before, just a reminder that we're looking at 2.0 funds that have to be spent by the end of this fiscal year. So I guess the important column here is over on the right-hand side, just showing you that our current balance in 2.0 is $936,000, and we'll have that spent by the end of the fiscal year, remembering that we started off with $2.9 million for 2.0. And so again, some of those broad things that we're spending the money on is listed here, the iPads, salaries, STEM labs, some other construction things, as well as HVAC upgrades. So we'll complete 2.0 this year, and then again, we've seen this slide before, we have the 3.0 funds that we are spending on now, but they have to be spent by September 2024. So again, this was just a reminder that this is how we're allocating our funds. We've updated our documents, and we, at this point, are in compliance with all of our monitoring mandates. Any questions or comments about 2.0 or 3.0?
Just one thing, that's a fair amount of families that participated. That's really good.
I thought so too. Thank you for that.
That was good, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Douglas.
Does the board have any questions for Ms. Douglas?
I appreciate the reminders.
Yes. Well, it kind of reminds you how much work these grants have been for you guys, the money has, and how well you've allocated and how well you've spent, and is judicious, and I think you hit a lot of great categories, and I hope our students really benefit. Anything else? We'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right. It is approved. Thank you, Ms. Douglas, very much. Anyone have anything else? All right. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Actually, we decided, didn't we decide we don't need that?
We said we didn't need it.
Well, yeah, I reverted back. Okay. Well, this meeting is adjourned. Thanks for all in attendance and those who presented.